Well, hello, it's good of you to join us again today. Now, we've been looking at Galatians 3:28, and we agreed that it's not saying here that Jews and Greeks, slaves and free, male and female are the same in Christ, but that they are united in Christ. The focus is in unity in diversity rather than equality. When we put our faith in Christ, whether man or woman, it's not that we're becoming the same, but that we are united in the church, in the midst of our diversity. Paul isn't calling for the removal of all authority. For example, slaves in Paul's day must still submit to their masters. He's pointing out how faith in Christ spiritually levels the playing field. He's not arguing that we are equal, he's not arguing that we are the same, rather that we are one in Christ, united. His focus was not on gender. Indeed, the passage says nothing about the specific roles of men and women in church. The verse is about how people relate to God as believers, not on male-female roles. We spoke previously of the importance of context. The context of verse 28 makes abundantly clear the sense in which men and women are equal in Christ. They are equally justified by faith, verse 24. Equally free from the bondage of legalism, verse 25. Equally children of God, verse 26. Equally clothed with Christ, verse 27. Equally possessed by Christ, verse 29. And equally heirs of the promise of Abraham, verse 29. But let us be clear, Galatians 3:28 does not abolish gender-based roles established by God and redeemed by Christ. Paul does not intend for this verse to undermine in any way the created order regarding male and female roles, despite what some feminists may like to think. Feminists who see no limits on women's roles in the church argue that because women perform certain legitimate forms of ministry in the New Testament, ministering to the Lord and to Paul and to the church and Christian service. And so their argument is, so the church therefore must grant women the office of elder, the oversight of the body, the church. I have to say that does not follow. Christian service is a responsibility of all believers. But it does not mean that eldership is open to all. Equality and submission may exist in glorious harmony. We saw that with Jesus, who was fully God, and yet he submitted himself to the Father. Not my will, but yours be done. Whilst we may not be equal in function and in role, we are when it comes to our spiritual standing in Christ. The promises of God are available to all, no matter our race, our status, or our sex. When it comes to the question of male and female roles and functions in the church, however, this is not dealt with in this verse, and for which we must look elsewhere. Thank you for listening.